Howdy ho, Lions fans. Welcome to the Detroit Lions podcast. This is episode 379. What does it take to win? This is the official Detroit Lions podcast for Reddit. I am your dashing host, Chris, and with me is my good friend and co-host and always effervescent, Jeff the Riz Risden. How you doing, brother?
It is good to be with you, Chris. It's been a while since we've seen the team play. The Thursday game sort of throws everything off schedule, but we're here. Let's talk some Lions football today. I'm ready to talk this. I had a wonderful weekend of going from the Lions game and what happened, and then the Browns played Sunday night, and you probably all watched that, and that didn't go so well either. And the reaction from that has been fun for the other professional hat that I wear, working with Browns wire. So, dang it, I want to win, man.
Can we not step over the fact that Michigan got a huge victory over the Buckeyes? Let's be honest. That was a gigantic, and the celebration afterward. It just brings me. It was so.
Yeah, my wife was there.
So really, oh my gosh, that had to be great.
She had a really good time. My wife and her mother were there. They have family seats, and it took her a very long time to get out of the stadium. It took her an incredibly long time to get out of Ann Arbor. She got back home. We live in Zeeland, Holland. She got home about 11:30.
Wow!
So it was quite a trip because it was also snowing like half the way home. But yeah, good for Michigan. I don't really care.
I know you don't. I know you don't.
It's nice though to see that the rivalry is like back. I will say that the Michigan fans, for not having won in a decade, are a little chesty, but you know.
Oh God, dude! What I liked was just the absolute celebration. It looked like they won the national championship, and you know what? They kind of, in a way, did after the dark years, the dark decade that they've had. Good on them, man. Good on them. That is one of the most fun rivalries in college football. And to have it sparked and competitive, I love that concept. I love that, and I love watching that. So congrats to the Michigan Wolverines. And also to Jim Brandstatter for his last broadcast from the big house. He's such a class dude, man.
Yeah. Now he does get to do the Big Ten Championship this weekend in Indianapolis, and then he will also do, presuming they win, and I think they will beat Iowa, he will also get to be in their college football playoff. And if things break right, they don't have to play Georgia in the first game. They could very well be in the national championship game, and that's an incredible thing for that program, considering how they've underachieved relative to their talent level over the last 25 years.
And they've had some real recruiting issues. I mean, we can get back into the Lions here shortly, but this is, you talk about a boost and a boon for recruiting. This is something that will definitely help that rivalry go on. But we're here to talk Lions. We'll do that. I did want to hit Jim Brandstatter just because he's one of my personal heroes, and he's such a
friend of the show.
Guy.
Been at our podcast party, training camp party. 3 years ago? Yeah. And he was great.
I was texting him after the game. He's just
nice,
so happy, really good guy. So. All right. What about the Lions? Let's talk about that. We'll talk about the Bears game. There's a lot to talk about there. Again, it was a close loss, but you know it was a game that the Lions are not so far out of a win or away from a win as they have looked. It's not as bad as the numbers say. We'll get into that. There's hope. There's future. There's all those things. We'll get into an injury report. It hasn't been released officially, but we'll start talking about where that goes this week. We're going to talk about what does it take for this team to win. As I said, we're close. We've had these things, but what is it that's going to get us over the hump? Riz and I will cover that. We're going to give you an update on St. Jude. We've got a look ahead to the Bears. I've got liquid death going on and a whole lot more. Riz, we've got a great show lined up. You ready to go, my man?
Oh, let's do it.
Let's kick this off and break it down.
All right, let's do it. Talked about a lot of fun stuff here. I do want to kind of slow it down for a minute. Just want to talk about and give condolences to all those and the folks at Lions on the Prowl. Jim Bordeaux from that podcast has passed. He's Lions Nation Unite guy. He's one of the creators there. I remember when he was starting out, answered a couple questions, just kind of gave him a little bit of stuff to work with. Was always a good guy, a nice guy, and worked hard out there. So to Jim's family, friends, and colleagues, thoughts, prayers, condolences, the whole thing. Sorry for the loss. It is a loss.
He was a good dude. I was on their show once. They treated me great. So yeah, it's stunning when you see that, because we had just been on a video call with him with Lions Nation Unite, a month and a half ago?
Yeah. Not even. Yeah.
Yeah, that's rough, man. It's a unfortunate reminder that there is life outside of football for a lot of us, and yeah, it's rough, man. That hit home, because he's not that much older than me, and he's not far away from me either. So it's rough. Yeah.
With that, just a quick announcement on our show schedule going forward. I have some family stuff I have to take. I'm hitting a plane tomorrow, actually, which is one of the reasons we're doing this today. There's not going to be a show with Tony on Friday, and we're not going to do a post-game show. I lucked into a ticket, Sandman of all people, right? For the Sunday game, right? So I'm going out of town to get some stuff done, but that kind of fell into my lap. So I'm actually going to go to the game, and we won't be doing a post-game show. We'll see if we can maybe stream some video after. Sandman and I we'll do something just to kind of interact with everybody. But I'm going to the game. I'm going to have fun because it's Ford Field, it's Sandman, and it's always the Lions. It's our team. So, all right, let's get into this. Let's review the game against the Bears. 16-14 loss. Here's the hardest part about where the Lions are right now, and what makes me say that they're so close or believe they're so close. In the last 3 games, they're only down 5 points total.
Unbelievable.
It's
negative 5-point differential, and you're 0-2-1. That's like Nebraska in college football having a 0-point differential and going 1-8 in the Big Ten Conference.
Mm-hmm.
That's rough, man. Look, there's the concept of the moral victory, and I think we are all, as a collective Lions nation, past that. I think we want an actual victory and not any more moral victories.
Mm-hmm.
But damn, they are. They're not a terrible. Well, I shouldn't say they probably are terrible, but they do a very good job of bringing other teams down to their level. And I will say, so I get in. They are so close, and it's frustrating because by and large, especially the Chicago game, they lost it on their own. The Bears didn't win that game as much as the Lions lost it.
And that's reason
frustrating.
That's the reason the rumor was so believable about the Bears firing Matt Nagy after that game, whether they won or lost. Because this is exactly whether if they had lost that game. I mean, they won that game, but it wasn't because they absolutely outplayed the Lions. The Lions kicked themselves in the chops. To that, there's a couple points. One, the pass defense on this team, right, with our number 4 or 5 cornerback as a starter and Amani Oruwariye as our number 1 cornerback.
Right.
Top 10 in the NFL over the last 3 weeks. Think about that. Just think about that.
In quarterback rating allowed, they are 8th over that 3-game period. That's impressive. That's coming out of the bye.
Yep.
Now, there's 2 ways to look at it. They played Mason Rudolph, they played an injured Baker Mayfield, and they played Andy Dalton, who I think is still criminally underrated. I still like Andy Dalton.
He looked like some kind of bust of Satan, though. The way his beard and his whole facial hair setup was, he looked like Satan, like a character of Satan.
He's got some definite Baphomet going. Yeah, that's not a great look for him. But I would say they did well against them. Would you rather that they lit you up? Like, would you rather that Andy Dalton throws for 340 yards and 5 touchdowns? Would you rather that a hobbled Baker Mayfield with crap receiving, by the way? The Browns receiving has way the hell off a cliff. Yeah. Would you rather he, light you up for, 5 touchdowns, 4 touchdowns, a Matt Flynn game, a PJ Walker game from last year? Remember back last year? A backup quarterback absolutely exploited us and was actually one of the catalysts for why there was changes at this time last year.
2 days longer than a year ago, those changes happened.
That's right. But by the way, week 13, 2020, the last Lions win.
Oof. Yeah. So it's going to be 300
win the week after Thanksgiving.
It'll be 364 days at the Minnesota game. So hold on to your hats if you want to put a little long flyer on there and you're into numerology. That's where to put your money. And I'm in Michigan. I get to put some money down since they stole my betting from Florida. Another thing.
We like those things in Michigan.
Yeah.
You will see on the television advertising, every other ad is for one sports book or another and their apps.
Yep. I can't wait to get there.
And we're open for sponsors, by the way. If you want to be the official sports gambling app for the Detroit Lions podcast, hit me up.
Yeah, for reals. All right, Lions.
You, Zach.
Goff is better than Boyle. This is the conversation, and I'm just putting the
of course
start with the lead, right? Everybody was saying put Boyle in. He can't be worse than Goff. Okay. Yes, he can.
Your bluff has been called.
Yes, he can. And now the next card is Blow. Put Blow out there. He can't be worse than. Trust me, he can. Okay, I like David Blau. I like his personality. I like him as a person. I don't think he's the solution over Goff. Now, I will say on the other side of that, Goff's 128.2 QBR shows how little value the QBR brings to evaluating your quarterback, because what in the heck is that?
So he was very accurate. He didn't turn the ball over, which is a huge thing. Like turnovers are the big thing.
Remember Matthew Stafford? Did you see that Rams game?
I did. You're drinking tea. It looks like you're sipping tea. You could be Kermit with the pinky up. Yeah, liquid death. That's probably not good for my heart. So you can have that.
It's literally look what it says under liquid death. Sparkling water.
Sparkling water.
It's literally just water.
That's a marketing scam if I've ever seen one. My goodness,
100%.
Wow, good on you, mate.
A hell of a marketing thing going on. So hey, Liquid Death, if you need a sponsor, go ahead.
There you go. So yeah, I think you saw over the weekend. If you watched, I did not watch the Dallas game. I did watch the Bills game, and Josh Allen in that game, I believe, threw 4 touchdowns and 2 interceptions and had a lower passer rating than Jared Goff. So that sort of tells you like if you complete most of your passes, and he did complete a couple of long ones, they both went for touchdowns, mercifully. The touchdown pass, like the Josh Reynolds pass, that was nice. That was a blown coverage. The touchdown pass to Hawkinson was the single nicest pass play the Detroit Lions have had all season, and that was encouraging because just from the schematics, I'm tired. I can't talk. The way that the play was designed. And the way that the receivers involved in it executed it, and Goff put the ball exactly where it had to be, that is the passing offense that those of y'all who thought this team was going to win 7 or 8 games envisioned. And it came in Week 12, at the end of Week 12. It took that long for that masterful of a play to develop.
Okay, and I'm going to say that was a great play, absolutely, and that was a planned play. That's what they had, and they deserve credit. I think a lot of the reason it took till Week 12 is because they literally had no talent at wide receiver. I want to go back, though, and talk about the Josh Reynolds one because, and again, whatever, we can argue. I don't care. I'm not here to argue, though. But the broken Josh Reynolds play actually tells me something more and better about Jared Goff, because the complaint has been that he does not look downfield. He just takes he doesn't read downfield even. He just takes a quick read and then throws it short, and that's it, right? That's who Jared Goff is. That's the kind of quarterback he is. You put Josh Reynolds out there, who's probably the best wide receiver on the team that's playing right now, and all of a sudden, what happens? He's able to read a broken coverage, react to the broken coverage, and deliver the ball for a touchdown. That, again, I say that's better for a read for Jared Goff than playing, taking his number one receiver, his number one target on the play and delivering the ball to him. I think that shows there's an impact that Josh Reynolds has on this offense already with his ability to stretch the field a bit.
There's an adaptability that has been built in because Goff clearly trusts Josh Reynolds. Right. I think that was very clear.
Right.
He looked for him a couple of other times when that first read, specifically TJ Hawkinson, who the Bears did a really good job of trying to take away. If you watch the All-22 from the game, and good luck finding it because Game Pass sucks.
God, I want my money back. I really do. It's a lie. They lied to us about what they would deliver.
No, that's fine.
It sounds like a Karen. I want people to give me what I pay for, or don't advertise it.
It's such it used to be a perfect product. I have an iPad. It's super old, but when they first came out with the Game Pass, you could put it on your iPad. You could finger telestrate on your iPad and draw the plays. Like all that's going. You can't. Now you got to pick side viewer. Oh, it's such a nightmare. It has made my work day on Tuesdays at least twice as long as it needs to be.
And let me tell you, for folks that are excited, I'm excited about AT&T to lose a Sunday ticket and to have a streaming option out there. They think that this is an okay product, that the degradation of Game Pass is an okay product to charge the same amount of money in. Be wary. Just be wary and demand more. Don't worry about sounding like a Karen or whatever. Be vocal with the NFL about what their streaming delivery service is, because it'd be unacceptable if it's at the quality level of Game Pass. That would be just an absolute step backward. They're just inspiring people to and incentivizing people to use illegal streams. It's exactly what they're doing.
They are. And I might be doing that for Cleveland Cavaliers games too. They're fun.
I would never condone such.
Back to Hawkinson. The Bears, they had a very concerted effort to take T.J. Hawkinson away from Jared Goff. They know it, especially when Goff was under center and it was like 2nd and 9 or 3rd and 11. Like, they know that that's the primary read, and they wouldn't necessarily. They did a pretty good job. Chicago's defense is actually a solid one, and their zone responsibility, their linebackers and their safeties and their corners, they all communicate really well in zone, and that's encouraging, because I think that's something that the Lions can do. When they did try to play zone in the past, it obviously didn't go very well. But the communication, that was a money shot right there. For those of you who are just listening, he just mugged with a liquid death, and it was beautiful. It belonged on a poster in a bus station or something.
Wanted poster.
Maybe. Yeah, but the fact that Goff, like, okay, they're taking TJ away, and I'm going to look at him to hold the safety there for a little bit, and maybe then I'll throw it to, I'll throw the screen pass that nobody wants to see ever again. But that kind of was what the Bears were giving them. And that's why, to your point, the play where Reynolds got down the field and broke open, and there was another one where they threw it to him down the field, and it was a misfire, but it was still a that's the kind of throw that we want Jared Goff to make. And
to attempt. And even just attempt the throw.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Because that opens things up. Look at how well Jamal Williams ran after that first touchdown. Like, their safeties weren't as close. Their linebackers were like, oh, they might sucker me with play action here. Yeah. I can't just cheat on that anymore. And that is such a huge thing. You in the NFL now, you throw to set up the run. You do not run to set up the throw, because teams want you to run the ball.
Yep.
Every time you run the ball is a gift to their pass defense, because they're not going to get an interference call. They're not going to get some fluky thing. Your quarterback, if they have a mobile one, we don't have that, but if they can scramble, you're oh my God, bad things happen. Mm-hmm. The Lions, they haven't been able to run as effectively as they could. And by the way, they are still one of the most effective run teams. I want to say that they are 11th in running in terms of what's it called, EPA, which is it's exceeding it's exceeding the anticipated play value based on what they are. Yep. They're either 9th or 11th. I can't keep it straight, but that's really good. Yeah. This is the best Lions run offense we've had since
2011. I mean, it's been ages since it's been this good.
And it's not just like Swift doing his thing and Jamal doing, like, they're consistent with it. They've only had 1 or 2 games this year where they really haven't run the ball effectively. They haven't run it enough at times, because there are times when you do need to run the ball better. Not on 3rd and 13, not on 2nd and 11. Anthony Lynn, Dan Campbell, learn that, please. The goddamn screens, Chris.
I can't.
It's painful.
I can't.
It's painful.
But I understand, right? I'm seeing it. Again, I'm going back to Josh Reynolds being here, and the offense changed. it tells me, and now I want to give Zach J. He made me laugh. The only throw I want to see Goff make is the throwing of the Gatorade bottle to his replacement. I'm going to tell you
next year,
the Rams. I don't think it's going to happen next year. You look at the Rams right now with Matthew Stafford. They're the same Rams as they were with Jared Goff from a record perspective.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's a better quarterback or anything like that. I'm saying there's some serious deficiencies at wide receiver on this team that are hampering him. It is literally a worst case scenario that exploits for the opposing team, exploits every weakness of Jared Goff's to its maximum. He could not be in a worse position than he is the Lions.
I think that's a fair assessment. I get exactly what you're saying. Like, the things that he's not good at are exacerbated by the situation that he's in Detroit right now, from coaching to play scheme to receiving talent. And it's not great. I would like to see him overcome that a little bit better. But hey, thank you. Is that Hattori? Wow. Nice.
Hattori and Big Bad Fab. I want to give Big Bad Fab.
Oh, I heard it. I missed the scroll.
Thank you, Hattori and Big Bad Fab, for your donations. Let's just really quick, stjude.org/DLP. We are less than, we're $630 away from the $30,000 goal. We're close there, folks. Christmas for the kids. We've also got the auction going. We'll get into that a little bit, but thank you all for donating. stjude.org/DLP. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
That's awesome. No, that's good. So now the thing is, we got to spin it forward, and they need to build off what we saw last Thursday.
Yep.
Minnesota is a defense that you can exploit. They don't rush the passer well. Their coverage is decent, but it's exploitable. It's vulnerable. If you've watched their last couple of games, you'll know it's very vulnerable.
Yeah.
But you have to take the shots. And I was encouraged to see Jared Goff take those shots and have, like I wrote it up, he was one of my 3 stars of the game for the Lions in that game. He played well.
Yeah.
That Jared Goff is a quarterback that you can win with. Mm-hmm. He's not going to be the reason you win, but in that game, he was not the reason that they lost. And he has been that in, I want to say 3 or 4 games where you can directly point, like Jared Goff, if Jared Goff played better in that game, they won. Like that really wasn't the case Sunday.
It was a headset issue.
Thursday.
It was the people wearing headsets. I would say I would place this on.
This loss is absolutely on Dan Campbell as a coach, and like we as Detroiters, we know as Lions fans when a coach is responsible for the loss of the game, and you damn well better believe that Dan Campbell was responsible for that loss. Yep. More than the players on the field were. Dan Campbell and Aaron Glenn and Anthony Lynn, the triumvirate of suck on Thursday, that can't happen again. Mm-mm. It can't. I know it. Look, I know it's year 0. I know it's not year 1. I know that the expectations should be low. You can't have that bad of a coaching game again. You just can't, because there's already people that are jumping off the bridge on that. You can't push more people off that bridge. There's not that much room below it.
No, you're right. And we knew going into this year, like you said, year 0, this was going to be a tough year. It's still hard to take it. The problem is, and this has always been the problem with the Lions, you're like, okay, I'm going in with low or no expectations. And then you get that little bit of hope, that the most dangerous thing in the world and the most destructive thing in the world, a little bit of hope. And there's been so many games where there's just that little bit of hope, where there's almost, we can do.
3 games, God. Chris. 3 games they've lost on the last freaking play on a field goal. At least this one wasn't a personal best field goal or an NFL record field goal
off the damn crossbar, right? Yeah, no, that was tough. So, the one thing that has come up, and this is Dan Campbell talking about it, and this goes to, I think, some of what we were talking about the play, not the coach related stuff. Coaches own this one. Year 0, they're going to make mistakes. They're going to make mistakes. These are all guys who've been promoted to these positions. Part of what got them there was that they were great players, and the coaching that they've done already has been great. They got put into positions where they're stretched a little bit. They're stretching themselves. We knew there was going to be some problems. We know seeing Jerry Jacobs out there, bad example, but we're going to see some problems. We're going to see mistakes along the way because you have a young guy. But that's the reality of it, right? You're playing with one of the youngest teams in the NFL, a coaching staff that's one of the youngest and has definitely the least amount of experience in total across the coaches.
And they haven't worked together.
Experiences. Yeah, you're going to have those learning
Campbell and Glenn work together, but like Anthony Lynn's from the outside, Deuce Staley's, Antoine Rand, all these people are coming together for the first time. And that's like, to go real forward, I'll go a little macro here, I'll keep it quick. There will be changes this coming offseason to the coaching staff, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not necessarily a reflection of failure. It's just like, I don't know if I can work with this guy. Sometimes you date somebody and you're like, you know what, I like him, but it's just not working out. The spark isn't there.
My wife is not going to accept this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my wife's certainly not happy with my dating. So, yeah, absolutely. But that's life in football. When you're bringing together that many disparate parties, there's going to be some that just don't work out, and that's okay. The what's not okay is to keep those things together. You've got to have the courage to make those changes. To go back in time, Jim Caldwell never understood that concept whatsoever. And he damn near got fired 2 years earlier because he couldn't see that the guy who's screwing up Justin Herbert in Los Angeles right now was screwing up Matthew Stafford back in the day.
Yep. It's 100% true. And he stood behind him. Why? It's the I stand behind my guy kind of thing.
Because because he hired him and he couldn't admit that he made a mistake hiring him.
Matthew Stafford stood behind Jim Bob Cooter. We had him around for an extra year, which probably hampered the progress toward what we were trying to do. Where we wound up, probably not a great place. But why they're standing behind these people are not the reason why they should be still employed. Right. And it's about why they're in their position, why they're still there. I think there's a lot of change coming. I think this is going to be that kind of cleansing year. We're cleansing ourselves of bad contracts, of dead cap, other than Jamie Collins. We're cleansing ourselves of a lot of things that have to go. And it's a tough go to get there. But the one thing, to Dan Campbell's credit, he said the details of what we do in the passing game have to improve. I saw that in an article somewhere.
You might have.
Some guy named Hefe Risedon wrote it.
Some guy with incredibly bad hair tonight wrote that this morning.
But it's absolutely, I mean, so that's the Dan Campbell quote. But it's
I love that.
True.
And that's why I specifically honed in on that quote and why I wrote it. And then TJ Hawkinson also talked about the same thing, having not heard Dan Campbell's interview just before it, because he was off in a meeting room. And he came in and got a different variable of the same question. And I want to say that it was Burkett that asked Campbell the question, and he was like, it didn't come across in the transcript, but you could hear it on the Zoom. It was like, he wanted like, don't just tell me that we're going to work hard. Like, tell me something specific, concrete, tangible that the fans will be able to see that you're going to do to help this team get better. And to Dan's credit, boom, he spat that right out. Like, we got to get more attention to detail, more focus on defense, on our passing game. And then Hawkinson's like, we all know the playbook, but some of us are reading the plays a little bit different, and we all got to get on the same page. And obviously that's a cliche, but in this case, like, he really meant it. Like,
the specifics of what they were diagnosing, right, were the same. If you want to see a team or a coach that's lost his team, you're not going to see that. That's one of the big indicators of how tight this locker room still is and how much they still believe that they still are focusing and believe that they have the exact same issues, and that's what they need to solve in order to improve what they're doing. That's really good news beyond just that they're on the same page.
That's why I wrote that up, and I was very happy to hear that Dan Campbell did that, and TJ reinforced it, because that we all see that. Like, we're not dumb. Fans are smart enough to understand the basics of football. Like, why is the 7-yard out that Khalif Raymond runs different than the way Amon-Ra runs it, and different than the way Josh Reynolds runs it, and different than the way TJ runs it? Like, you can't do that. Like, you're asking way too much of star quarterbacks to do that, and you're asking Jared Goff, who's on his best day an average quarterback, to do that. That doesn't work.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's keep going here. We'll keep with this. Moving on to the Diamond CBD injury report and analysis. We have got.
I need some for my hand. I need some of the cream for my hand. I I popped this in the back of my hand here. I'm not flipping you all off. You can see how it's like discolored.
Yeah.
I was taking a glove off the other day after we went Christmas tree shopping for 2.5 hours, and I pulled the glove off so hard that it like snapped the tendon off down here. So
right.
I need some cream, man. I need it. It hurts. Oh,
That's a boo boo.
oh, what'd you do?
Dermatologist. I need some cream too. CBD cream. CBD.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. CBD.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Use coupon code LIONS. Get yourself 55% off, and you'll be good to go. It is the best stuff to help your pain, insomnia, and anxiety. Take care of those things. Get yourself some CBD cream from Diamond. CBD. CBD.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. They give us a little kickback when you do that, and I'm telling you, I pull out all the time. I've got stacks. I don't want to say stacks, but I got my cream, I got my gummies, and I got my oil right here, all to take care of life's daily maladies. So there you go. CBD.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Support the show by supporting your brain. It's a smart thing to do. All right, the injury report. DeAndre Swift. God, I was so happy to hear that was not a collarbone, because I was 100% sure. I said it in the Slack. Collarbone, season over. That's what I said is immediately when that play happened. I was so frustrated and angry. I'm really happy to hear that it's not a collarbone.
The unofficial diagnosis is a sprained AC joint, which is a 2 to 5 week injury. There's 6 weeks left. He's not going to play Sunday. They haven't officially ruled him out yet. It's only Tuesday. They haven't even had a full practice yet. The way that Dan Campbell said what he said about him in the Monday press conference, DeAndre Swift ain't playing Sunday.
Yeah.
Like, forget about it.
Yep.
And he might not be there for Denver, the road trip to Denver in week 14. I'm obviously not a doctor. I'm obviously not there. I would be surprised if he plays against Denver too. And then after that, who knows? Then
That's
then
what
you
you
get some
said in
winnable
that
games.
night in the Uber. You didn't say you weren't a doctor. Damn you.
I'm
I'm fooled again. All right, speaking of hand injuries, Deshaun Hand is no longer
I
with
look
the
like the
team.
Porcupine Tree cover.
He's been released.
There's like two of you in the world who know what I'm talking about. The cover of the Porcupine Tree album, The Incident, is like that.
I think there's a head injury in play here. Deshaun Hand has been released on an injury settlement. I feel like this is a guy that never
He was
met his
on
potential.
injured reserve 5 times in 4 years. 29 games played, 30 missed.
Flash and miss. Flash and then it was like waiting for the flash to come back. God, these things. This is something
funny.
that plagues
It's crazy.
the Lions. This plagues us.
Eric Schlitt pointed out this morning. We interviewed him at training camp, and he talked about, I'm really focused on getting healthy and doing everything I can to treat my body right. The very next day, he got hurt.
God.
Some dudes just aren't like his body just can't handle the rigors of playing in the NFL. It happens.
Yep.
It's unfortunate because he is a talented guy. He does have some legit ability, but if you can't help the club in the tub, baby.
Yeah, that's totally it. And this is something to look for in the draft, and something Lions fans really should pay attention to as they get their guys and their draft crushes. Look at that injury history. See what you have, and know that the rigors of the NFL are much, much greater than at the college level. And if you have a guy who's getting injured on the regs or has a history of injury, it may not be, it's worth downgrading his position from where you think he is strictly because of that, because it's only going to get harder and it's only going to get worse in the NFL.
Great example. Caleb Farley, first round pick, cornerback from Virginia Tech. I can tell you, I know this, he was off the Lions board because he had massive injury history. He played, I think, 3 games for Tennessee as their first round pick.
Yep.
And he's gone for the year. And from what it sounds like, he might not be back next year. You can't spend assets like that. Unfortunately, Hand was only a 4th round pick. So, the fact that he lasted as long as with all of his injuries is a testament. He is a talented guy. He is going to get somewhere else. One of the reasons why the Lions did what they did was so he could go find somewhere else. Don't be surprised if he winds up in Miami as their part of their playoff push. And by the way, they are making a playoff push. They're only a half game out, I think, of the playoff spot. there are teams right now who have losing records who are going to be in the playoffs, which is crazy. Washington's win the other night put them in the 6th seed in the NFC. How the hell does that happen?
Washington, yeah. Oh my God, or just ahead of I forget his name, the quarterback, the running quarterback, RG Griffin.
That book
is going to be scorching.
He's writing a book. Y'all won't want to read that because he's a bright guy. He's a perceptive guy, and he's also a guy who understands how to market things.
Yep.
Like he's going to know how to tell that story.
Yep. All right. Hand is the next Tomlinson. He'll find his way to a Pro Bowl. Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Don't do that.
No.
Oh, man.
Laken Tomlinson is the exact same dude in San Francisco he was in Detroit. He just plays for San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only reason he gets any acclaim. He's the exact same guy.
Yeah. All right. On the better side of the news on the injury world, Ifeatu Melifonwu is back. We will see him on the field, and that's good news because he's a guy that was looking really good before the injury. Was one of the guys I really wanted to see develop this year and kind of renew and refresh the Melifonwu name in the NFL. I think he has the potential to do that. So getting him back, I think, is good. Getting him some reps is good. It helps us, and it may think about it. I mean, if he winds up on that same arc and comes back strong, you've got Ifeatu, you've got Amani, and you've got Jerry. That's not a bad couple of guys.
And you got A.J. Parker in the slot.
A.J. Parker. That's not a bad couple of guys to revolve your secondary around. And I'll tell you, for me, it takes secondary as a concern off the draft board. It completely and when Okudah got hurt, quarterback. When Okudah got injured, I was like, well, there's another gap we got to draft for. I was just absolutely just crushed that we opened up another gigantic gaping hole that we had to fix. It looks like we may be solid here. We may be in a position that works out at cornerback. And you're right. Thank you for saying that. I just using secondary on the offhand.
We definitely need safety at least one safety. The Will Harris as the slot that didn't work. They had to try it though. I mean, it was worth a try.
Yep.
He can't play safety. Let's see if he can play slot corner. He can't really do that either. So that was unfortunate. Yeah, but getting the cornerbacks and Campbell did say it. And it's also been expressed to us behind the scenes that Jerry Jacobs will remain the starter on the outside corner. Jerry Jacobs and Amani Oruwariye are the two starting outside corners. They're not sure if he's gonna play. Mm-hmm. Like he's gonna play some outside. They might see if he can play inside. They might see if he can be that heavy nickel. That's not really what his body type is suited for, but it's worth a try. I mean, let him prove that he can't, rather than assuming that he can't.
Yeah, and the other side of it is he can play outside corner in case of an injury, right? I mean, that you have a backup then in play.
And by the way, Mark Gilbert getting some reps and not terrible. Right. He was solid in coverage the other day. Yep. He's blissfully unaware in run defense, but he can work with that.
Jerry Jacobs with a punt return. What? Oh, he recovered the ball. He has credit now on a punt return. 0 yards, but hey, that's okay. Jerry's our guy. Love Jerry. If you're interested in Jerry Jacobs, you can get what is potentially the first Detroit Lions jersey signed by Jerry Jacobs at auctions.detroitlionspodcast.com. Auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. We've got Jamal Williams signed ball, signed helmet. We've got DeAndre Swift signed jersey, signed ball. We got a Penei Sewell signed ball. Jerry Jacobs signed ball, signed jersey. We've got a Colorado ski home, 7 nights on auction. It's only like $602 right now. It's $3,000 value. We've got the dinner with Riz, myself, and Sandman at Prime Proper. It's like at $175. The dinner costs more than that. Get in there, have some fun, hang out with the boys, go down for some fancy steaks downtown. There's a Darren McCarty Sweet Revenge puck with the date from Claude Lemieux fight. Cool. It's awesome. Lots of really, really cool stuff and memorabilia up there. Get up there, auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. 100% of that money goes to support St. Jude. 100%. We're paying for all the costs, all the administration, everything to get this stuff sent around. It's all coming out of my pocket, so that 100% of the money for every one of those items goes to St. Jude. Auction.detroitlionspodcast.com, or head over to stjude.org/DLP if you want to do a direct donation. Just over $600 away from our goal of $30,000. Our secondary goal, because you guys killed it on the original goal of $25K. So thank you all. Thank you all for doing that. All right, let's get into this. This team is just 4 field goals away from being 4-7. Now, just chew on that for a second, right?
It's true.
I mean, 4 field goals away from 4-7. What does it take to win? And Riz, I want to kind of think about that for this team for the remainder of this year. We talked about the pass defense looking good. We've seen some improvements on the offense. The offensive line has looked really well. Penei Sewell has killed it at right tackle, much better than left tackle. I think he solved that answer that people had when he first started playing left tackle early. He will be the right tackle.
Yes.
The offensive line has looked great without Ragnow. Ragnow gets there. That's comes back. That'll be a real big plus. I mean, the defensive line this last game did not look bad at all. I mean, they've looked solid. Captain Anzalone, he's out there. He's been killing it. I mean, He had a really good game against Chicago. Every play. For the people that were killing him in the beginning of the season, all of a sudden Collins goes away, and you see again, it's addition by subtraction, which I think is a lot of the Jared Goff syndrome. When you get the right players catching the ball, I think you're going to see a lot better Jared Goff out there. But we have pieces coming together. We have things changing. Ifeito is coming back. What is it going to take on the remainder of the schedule for this Detroit Lions team to win, Riz?
They've got to, again, they still have a small margin for error. That's been a consistent theme. Dan Campbell's talked about that a lot. They've got to win the turnover battle in a game. They've got to manage the clock. They've got to stay out of 3rd and 13, 3rd and 17. They've got to string multiple good drives together. That's one of the things, and we got spoiled a little bit with Stafford, where he'd have 2 or 3 drives where he's awful, but then he would come back and then they'd score on 4 of the next 5 possessions. And this team never strings together like, oh, we got a field goal. Now we're going to get a touchdown. Now we're going to have like an 8-play, 3 first-down drive where we flip field position, but we punt it. And then we get it back and then we score again. That's not what this team has done. And that's what they need to do. That consistency of stringing together good drives on both sides of the ball. Because the defense is doing a pretty good job of that. The offense, it's way too scattershot. You just don't know what to get it. And I think, honestly, that will help Dan Campbell get into a flow as a play caller a little bit too. Like, okay, we've had success on a couple of drives here. Now we've got a little bit of freedom. We're not like exasperated to try and score a field goal just to try to stay in this game. We might be able to try a few things. Maybe Jared Goff can look down the field a little bit more. Maybe we can work in God forbid, a jet sweep to Khalif Raymond or something like that, or a gadget pass, or a multi-layered sluggo or something like that. Which I'm not sure that they've run a sluggo route this year. I would like to see one. Those are the type of things you can do when you have more consistent performance on your offense, because you're not going to be so backed up against it, and so like when you're losing and when your coach comes out and says that your margin for error is so small, you're probably not going to take as many risks because there's more error inherently built into that. And that's where the ultra conservativeness comes into. I think that if they can score 3 out of 4, three times in 4 possessions, one of them being a touchdown, I think it's going to open Dan Campbell up, and I think it will take some of that burden off, and I think it will let them play a little bit more. And look, the way that their defense is playing now, the key is to outscore the other team. It's not like we got to hold this team to X. It's like our defense, we know what they're going to do. We have a pretty good idea anyways. They're going to have one or 2 bad games the rest of the year. And one of them could very well come against Minnesota because they're loaded on offense, even without Dalvin Cook. Mm-hmm. But there will be opportunities for the offense to what, if we get 20 in this game, we got this. And that needs to be their focus, is to focus on not just like holding the other team to a low amount, but also trying to score more than that. And I don't think that Dan Campbell has made that connection yet. And again, the building of the offensive consistency like that, I think we'll put that in his mind and help him realize it, because that's something that Sean Payton and the New Orleans Saints are masterful at.
Yeah.
And I'm hopeful that he will harken back to that.
When I look at the team, it's all about those mistakes. There's like 4 games, I believe, that they've been outscored by more than 10 points. They've basically been in every single game and had a chance. The ones like the Bengals game was just a blowout. And teams have those. I mean, if I go look at
the Eagles game,
a blowout, right? Those things happen to teams, especially, bad teams. Those happen. But we were competitive with a lot of teams that we weren't supposed to be. We've been within 3 points, 2 points, so many games, lost on those last field goals against very, very good teams. This team, it just feels like it's a mistake or two away. I go back to the Ravens game where one guy, Marlowe, was playing man and everybody else was in zone, and he cost us the catch. Or that was the Vikings game. Cost us the catch that gave him 19 yards that put him in position to get the winning field goal. One play. One mistake. I think about, the Ravens game, the delay of game, the motion, which is a little bit, questionable, hold, all kinds of stuff that went on there that went by uncalled. I hate the idea that the Lions are cursed with refs or, you got to play better so it doesn't matter. That was just a crap play. It was a really, really bad luck kind of a deal. It sucked.
Loved your condescending tone there. That was great.
So many times these guys have been right there at the end, and it's like that mistake, that one mistake, those two mistakes that cost the team. They have to play mistake-free football. I think they play mistake-free football. They're a 5-win team this year. Now, that's a lot to ask. I don't know team plays mistake-free, right? But we need to get, at least not all the games. We need a game. We need 2 games like that. And when we can do this, that's when this team will absolutely be able to turn around and find those wins. The mistakes are coming from everywhere. It's different places every game. Sometimes it's the same.
Kadarius Hodge not fielding the punt from Jack Fox that last game. It cost them 19 yards.
Yeah,
those 19 yards turned into a score.
The secondary playing, one guy playing the wrong kind of coverage. Offense, right? One guy running the wrong route, rounding out the route too early. Amon-Ra, right? St. Brown. We were talking earlier about guys running routes differently. Would have been wide open. The ball was where it was supposed to be. It was a timing route. He wasn't there on time. There's a lot of these errors that change these games for this team. We're close. We're not a 10-win team. We're not a 6-win team. We're not a 5-win team. We're not that good. But to win, if they can eliminate eliminate those errors, we can still talk about, is it Hutchinson or Thibodeau, and be number 1 overall, but have that win to say, okay, guys, we're there. Last piece of that. It's weird how teams Tony Ortiz has talked about it a couple of times, the 0-16 team, where the guys just shut down at the end of the season. They ran away. They didn't want to talk to anybody, right? Right around 9 losses is when everything shut down. We're at 10 losses now, right? And they're still there. And they're still talking about being on the same page and understanding the same things, and that they're missing the same things as the head coach. That coach still has them. They're still together. They're still working. They still believe in the team, the system, the coaches, and that they're going to be able to get some wins this year. This is a unique place. I don't think I've seen a team that's been surrounded by so much depressing, horrible, luck, everything else associated with it, right? And still believe this much and been this together. It's a testament to the guys in this team. It's a testament to the coaching staff, keeping these folks together, keeping them, focused and with hope and playing to the very last snap to the best of their ability. This team will get a win this year. They'll get at least one. They'll get that one win. It's going to take.
I went through. I put it up on LionsWire this morning. I wrote it, most of it last night, but it was like, what are the chances for winning each of the remaining games? And I didn't go over 50% in any of the games, and a couple of them are really, really low, this week's included. I don't think they stand much of a chance against Minnesota. I think the Vikings are going to come in and stomp them. I think it will be respectful. Like it'll be double digits is my expectation. And I hope that I'm pleasantly surprised that I'm wrong. But just the law of football averages and karma is like, they're going to get one. If you watch Seattle play, right now, Detroit's a better football team than Seattle is.
Yeah, they are.
And that's a team that when you get them in, 4 more weeks, they could be on a new coach by that point.
Yeah.
And not that they're trying to push Pete Carroll out, but I think there's a realization with that team, you know what, our window's closed. Maybe it's time that we all just pack it up and start over. Atlanta with a new coach, but with an aging quarterback who's not playing well, that team cannot rush the passer whatsoever. There's an opportunity there. Denver's, depending on which Denver team shows up, they can beat Denver. I don't expect them to, but they can. There's
they've shown they can play with the Vikings.
They can.
And Dalvin Cook is out, right? He
is. Yes, he is out.
So there's a shot. There's a shot. He was out last time.
And the way the Lions' pass defense has been, unfortunately, most of the good part of the pass defense has been the coverage. If you have good coverage and no pass rush, Kirk Cousins is going to eviscerate you. You've got to get pressure on him. Yeah. And hopefully, again, this is my biggest complaint about Aaron Glenn. If you know that Dean Marlowe and Will Harris can't cover, why the hell don't you blitz him? I know Will Harris can blitz. I know he can. I saw him do it at Boston College.
We saw some blitzing in the last game.
We did, and he had a good effective blitz in the last game. Yep. He had a great blitz in the game before that, the Pittsburgh 2 game, the Pittsburgh game. I thought he did a great. I think he had a sack. Did he not?
Yep.
Maybe not. He had a pressure. Try to win.
Yep.
Playing to win. You play to win the game. They don't, and I think this is one of the big criticisms of Dan Campbell, to summarize, is he's not playing to win.
I think he is now. I think that we're seeing that evolution.
I hope so. I hope that we see that. Because he certainly didn't play to win on Thanksgiving. And that was, unfortunately, the national audience got to see that. And I think that the national... there's been buzz for Dan. I think most of the national media has been fairly positive and optimistic towards it. And that's okay. See change when everybody saw him coach that on Thursday. Mm-hmm. And he's got to do something to win that back. Yep. I know it's not that important to the guys in the room, but for those of us who cover the guys in the room and those of us who want the guys in the room to be more successful, that can't be the last impression you leave on people, and then go winless. They've got to get one, and some of that's on Dan to be more aggressive and more confident in his own coaching, because I don't think he's doing that right now.
Okay, I want to get a couple things here first. Hattori, 1-15-1, win against the Packers, no home field for them. Secure 10A draft Hutch. My guy
works for me. I like it.
Writing a hell of a book. I like it. I want to really quick. We talked about the auction in St. Jude. Don, who dropped $50 on the St. Jude piece here today, and last week and the week before.
Don's
super generous guy. I just went from the chat. Motivational moment for all watching tonight. My PSA was a little high in my last doctor checkup, so I had to do a biopsy today, prostate. Only about 20% chance of cancer, and I have really good insurance. Not going to lie, it's still nerve-wracking. Think of the kids that have something really serious and the parents that cannot afford that level of care. God bless St. Jude's. Please give. Your generosity truly means something. We're with you there, Don. Good luck, buddy.
Absolutely. Good luck.
Man. Need some good news. All right.
Fingers crossed, baby.
With that, we will get into the Hutch versus Thibs kind of talk here in the next couple of weeks. We still have the season to catch. I very, very honestly haven't done a lot of college film looking, and I have a plan this year to really accelerate. Riz, you're still in on the Senior Bowl, right? This year? All right.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm driving this year too. I'm not flying.
Really? Okay, and I want just when we're done in 5 minutes to talk about that. But yeah, absolutely. Senior Bowl, we're going to have some good coverage.
14 hours straight south.
We are going to be on the on Radio Row again. We got the whole thing covered. We will give you all the coverage from Senior Bowl, and we will definitely have your chat and your coverage of the draft this year. I think we've got some really good stuff
and we will have we've got draft guests who would love to be with us. We've had Luke Easterling, Kyle Krabs. What's his name? I'm blanking on his name.
Emery?
My God. Emery would be great.
Emery's
yes,
awesome.
We'll get Emery back, and hopefully this time we'll get him on video because he brings up the handsomeness quotient of the show quite a bit. He just got hired by ESPN to help McShay. Jordan Reed, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
It came to me in my head. Jordan's a good dude, and I've been on his podcast, so he owes me one. So he's gonna come on our podcast.
Awesome.
Probably not until after the season. It's tough to get draft before then. I mean, we can hint around at it. I don't know who I would take at number one yet. I don't think we have any idea. And just one thing, We learned this in Cleveland the hard way. You do not get squadouche out of the organization when John Dorsey is a member of the organization.
Mm-hmm.
He is the greatest plumber of front office people in the entire NFL. And it's been proven in Kansas City. It's been proven in Cleveland. And it will be proven in Detroit, too. So don't expect us to know exactly what they're going to be doing.
We've talked about his canary traps in the past.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I would expect...
He's really... I'm not sure that he's good at a lot of things, but he's really damn good at that.
Yeah. I would expect soon to start seeing some of that action. Canary trap action, and we'll start seeing some changes in the office and coaching. So
yeah, we talked about the Condoleezza Rice one. That was great. That was great. It's gold.
So there you go. We will cover the draft in depth. Right now, we're at the point we're still covering the team. There's still football, and frankly, there's Rams watch. Their pick is going to be interesting. Is it going to be where we thought it was? It feels like it's going to be a little bit lower. We're hearing a lot about Matthew Stafford. What is it? Elbow, hand, and back injuries.
And back. Odell Beckham has a contusion on his back. He is a European soccer player at heart, so he's going to milk that for all that it's worth. Yep. A la Eric Ebron, who got cleated in the foot and made it look like he had his Achilles, both of them torn at the same time.
Oh my God, that was crazy. That was really you guys are sitting right there in the end zone, weren't you and your son?
My son saw it the whole time. He's like, his foot got stepped on, Dad.
So there you go.
He's down. They got a car out. They got a stretcher out. They got like 4 trainers on the field.
Yep.
He got his foot stepped on.
With that, and with the kind of idea of Rams watch for that draft pick, I want to talk a little bit about the deal on Stafford. And I said it's one of those things that the perception around that deal is going to change over time. The beginning of the year, Lions fans had hope. Right, the hopium was burning, and we were all sitting in the hopium den. But as the year played out, the narrative very clearly became, and it wasn't without help from the networks and their broken down car and the sad Stafford gets on the plane and it's sunshine in LA, right? All that crap. It couldn't be that, Stafford had a good deal and he had a good team. No, it had a crap on Detroit on the way. I was so frustrated at that point. But what's happening? Well, Matthew Stafford's turning into he's the Matthew Stafford. He is what we thought he was. He's does the things that we know he does. He's a great quarterback. Love the guy to death. But just because you surrounded him with all those people, all of a sudden he's not that amazing superstar. He's still Matthew Stafford with a very Jared Goff Rams record, with probably more
its level,
with probably more talent surrounding him than Jared Goff had. It's very, very interesting. That Rams watch, that thing is going to be interesting. So where are we on this deal? Well, Stafford had a really bad game, frankly. I mean, there's people that will say he had yards and all that, but that game was lost at the hands of Matthew Stafford, and they had to play catch up, and he had to get into superhero
36-10 after his pick six.
And superhero mode on Matthew Stafford, Lions fans should know that's not where you want him to be, and in many cases, you're there because he got you there. So where are you? Well, if you say, we're going to take the temperature right now, holy cow, Stafford is no good. That's not the case. He's better than what he played this week, right? Yeah. There's somewhere in there that Matthew Stafford, and he's streaky, I think is a good way to put it. He does well, he does poorly, and he can be streaky from quarter to quarter, from half to half in a game. The Rams watch on that draft pick will be interesting, but when you look at this deal that we got for him, and I'm going to point specifically at those injuries that are troubling him right now. In another year, once we've got our first round pick, we've had 2 first round picks, right? And maybe we've put some talent around Goff, and he's not bad, right? He's not hamstringing your team, and you're getting wins. And then the year after that, when we have 2 more first round picks or whatever we trade and put together out of those things, I think very much so. The narrative or the look back is going to be that the Lions won that trade. And I'll tell you, Matthew Stafford has not signed an extension. He's got this year and next year on that contract, and that's it. He very well may be done after these 2 years. And if his back, look, the one thing I know, and I've heard and I've seen it a lot, once you have a back problem, it doesn't get better. It doesn't go away. Back problems are forever. Yeah. He keeps playing. He keeps getting hurt more and more. He knows that, right? He's a competitive guy. At some point, though, Kelly's going to get what she wants, and he's not going to be playing anymore.
They don't need money.
No. All they need and if you ask the leader of that family what they need, they just need fame for Kelly. That's all they need. That's all they need. Everything else, every other need has been met. Very, very interesting. That whole
might need more pretzels.
Yeah. There might be one heading this way. But that's it. I don't know. And in 2 years, if he does retire, and we're now on our 4th first-round pick after that, you can't tell me we won't be talking about winning that trade. If they don't win a Super Bowl this year, Riz, next year isn't going to be easier for them, right? It means next year everything has to go right. The Von Miller money, the OBJ money, the Stafford money. I mean, everything has to go right, and they have no first-round picks.
They don't have any first-round picks. Their left tackle, Andrew Whitworth, should have retired last year. Look, I love Andrew Whitworth. He's one of my favorite players. He is done as Ben Roethlisberger is at quarterback.
Yeah.
They don't have the means to replace that because they don't have the cap room and they don't have draft picks.
Yep.
They when all of us wrote the all in, we meant it. Like, they really did go all in this year. Like, they're not going to be as good next year by design. Yep. They saw the opportunity to win right now, and they went for it. And I applaud them for going for it because I would want my team to do it if they were in that position. But if it doesn't work, it looks really bad for you hockey fans. The New York Rangers did that back in the day when they were trying to string out the end of the Mark Messier era, and they brought in Valeri Kamensky, and they brought in a bunch of dudes, and it just didn't work.
This is the rare Riz hockey reference. Holy cow.
Dude, in the 90s, I watched hockey more than I watched any other sport.
Me too.
Just the way it was. Yeah. It helped that I ordered the NHL, whatever their Game Pass is, 1 year, and they never shut it off. So I get to watch every game every year, and I never paid for it, which is great.
Hence their monetary
need that kind of look again. Yeah. But that you can have some lean years. The Rangers had some rough times after that.
Well, and that's going to be the thing. How do the Rams recover after this? Right. And it'll be an interesting, because we've seen teams come back more often than not. They don't. What does Les Snead have? He doesn't have much ammo. He has a cap that's blown up. How they emerge out of that.
Nice hair.
Yeah. How they emerge out of that, I don't know. And this very well may be what costs Sean McVay his gig, which is a whole nother interesting combo, right? I mean, holy cow.
It's going to be the story on the love triangle there of Jared Goff, Sean McVay, and not Sean McVay's girlfriend, but rather Matthew Stafford. It's going to be fascinating in how it's perceived now versus how it's perceived in like 2026. Because I think you're right. I do think it's going to change. I think that the Lions fans' perception of it will absolutely change once we know what we've got for him. Like, right now, they're just abstract draft pieces. If you tell me that winds up being Kenny Pickett, and then the year after that, it's I don't know, the wide receiver from Alabama will be in the first round because they always have one.
Right.
They have one this year too, although he got thrown out of the game the other day for targeting because he was playing special teams. By the way, Nick Saban, don't play your fucking starters on special teams, you dumbass.
We'll see it. We'll talk to him about that.
Damn near cost himself a college football playoff because he refuses to play backups on special teams.
We'll talk to him about that at Senior Bowl because he's always there.
We will.
Yeah, we'll grab him on that.
Never ceases to amaze me how short he is.
Yeah, it's so true.
Bobby Bowden too. Bobby Bowden didn't even come up to my nipples. He was tiny, and he always wore the sun hat, and even the sun hat was below my chin.
All right, really quick, we got to talk about Amazon at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. It's that holiday season. It's the holiday season, and my balls need squeezing. Head on over to Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com to get all of your holiday needs. Get those things taken care of. I will implant the very, very lewdest Christmas lyrics in your head. I was talking about it last week. My wife has repeated. She told me today, she's like, I was out and I've just now started inserted bag words into Christmas lyrics because my brain, I've trained this into her. I'm a good time to be around for Christmas for sure. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. You go there, you go right to the Amazon site. It just sets a little cookie in your browser so they know that we sent you, and they give us a little kickback. They take no cost to you. They just take a couple pennies out of Bezos' pocket and slide them over to the podcast to help us keep things running. So your help there is super, super appreciated. It's a great way to help the show, support the show by doing something you were going to do anyway. Amazon.DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Let's look ahead to the Minnesota Vikings. Here we are. This is the scariest part of the game. We're facing another coach in a difficult position. This seems to be the one thing that really puts the Lions on the ropes. We played so well against them in Minnesota. You would say, well, the home field advantage. We have an opportunity to really lean into them. I'm not sure how much of an advantage there's going to be at home field this time. Having been to the Dallas game last year, was it? No, the year before, at this time of year, in even better record than this, although not markedly better, but better.
Yeah.
It was not a home-friendly crowd. So what do you think? What do you see happening here, Riz, in this game against the Vikes? If Dalvin Cook is out, we've got the top 10 NFL cover unit. We're good, right?
I just don't see it happening this weekend. Sorry. I know you're coming to the game. I don't want to rain in your parade. I'm hopeful that I'm wrong. I'm always hopeful that I'm wrong when I pick the Lions to lose. But I think Minnesota is in a must-win game. Like, if they have very legitimate playoff aspirations. They're a second-place team right now. They are in a giant cluster of teams that's competing for, what was it, 2 wildcard spots? 3 wildcard spots. They on paper are one of the 3 best teams in that group. And if they don't live up to it, you better believe their coach is going to be gone. So they need this. I think their offense has been more fine-tuned of late. Justin Jefferson is a freaking star. That guy's an incredible receiver. Like, I like Jerry a lot. I like what Amani is really becoming. He's emerging as a bit of a playmaker. The problem is that the Vikings have more than one. And Cousins, when he's not pressured, is smart enough to find it. If they don't rush the passer on this one, this is the week where they give up over 30 points. And I don't think that the offense can keep up as bad as New England or as Minnesota's pass rush is. They do stop the run pretty well. They have linebackers who seek and destroy at the second level pretty darn well. And that's going to be a problem for this offense, especially without Swift. I'm very curious how much run the backups behind Jamal Williams get. Are we going to see more of Godwin Igwebuike taking the plays that are designed more for Swift? This is one of my criticisms of Coach Campbell, is that when Jamal and DeAndre are 2 very distinct backs, right? But when one of them goes out, they ask the other one to run the same plays in that system, and that's dumb. It's stupid. You don't do that. That's a coaching mistake. That's something that they have to learn from. I'm hopeful that they learn from it enough that, like, okay, we got Jamal this time, so we need somebody who's got a little bit of vitality on the outside. Godwin Igwebuike is a perfect guy for that.
Exactly.
Let's see him get 10 touches this week.
Let's talk about Vegas really quick. Let's talk about Vegas and what they think. They got Minnesota minus 300, the Lions plus 235. But it's only a 7-point differential.
Got bought down. Started at 7.5.
Yeah. 7 points is, to me, that's pretty close. Over under of 46.5. I mean, I think they can pull it off against the points.
All right. So that's telling you that it's what, a 28-21 game? 27-20? 27-20?
Yeah.
I can see that being the final score. I would give an extra field goal to the Vikings, make it 30-20.
Interesting.
Scoring 20 will require a good special teams play, a turnover or 2. Kirk Cousins will turn the ball over. Alexander Mattison will turn the ball over. Look, he's really good, and he destroyed us last year when Dalvin Cook didn't play. This will be the 3rd time in a row that they've played the Vikings without Dalvin Cook. This
defense held the Rams to 28 points, and we scored 19, right? Josh Reynolds brings something I expect. I think 20 points out of us is good. They haven't allowed more than 16 in the last 3 weeks. This is going to be
that's where the level of competition comes in, though, and they have not played an offense as good as Minnesota's.
Yep. Well,
even without Cook,
I think the Browns were probably the closest that they had to that. And Andy Dalton, like you said, criminally underrated. I mean, he's a pretty good guy, but he didn't have a whole lot of targets. He didn't have A-Rob out there. He was missing some guys. But the Vikings, They don't have Dalvin Cook. They still have a run game, right? But it's not Dalvin Cook. I think that puts a little bit of an opportunity in the Lions' hands. I believe that this game, the thing that will make this game for the Lions is ball control, time of possession, and executing deeper passes throughout the game, right? I'm not talking about a long passing game for all, throughout the game, but ball control and being able to score more than 13 points. I guess we had 14 against the Bears, and 16 against the Steelers, but we're just not scoring outside. It's always 14, 17, right? We're not scoring 22 points. I think we scored over 20 points twice this year. Over 20 points.
San Francisco, and that was 38-10 at one point, so that doesn't really count.
San Francisco was 33 we scored. Over 20. Nope. We haven't scored. We scored over 20 once. And I think that's where the difference in this game comes from. Yeah. We need the offense to deliver, because what's hurt our defense more than anything? Being on the field all the time. The offense needs to hold the ball. The offense needs to convert that time of possession into points, and the defense, I think, will hold. I think the defense will hold. You
talk about the margin for error. The more plays you play on defense, the more chances there are for error.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's the look ahead. That's this week's show. Again, just to give folks an idea, no show on Friday with Tony. I'm flying out tomorrow to go do I have to take care of some family stuff in Michigan. As a result, I will be going to the Lions game on Sunday. So I'm going with Sandman. We'll see if we can put some kind of stream together after the show, not the official normal post-game show, but put something together on YouTube for you to enjoy and spend some time with. Hit the like button, the subscribe button on the YouTube if you would. We appreciate everyone that does that.
It's right
Helps
there.
us with the algorithm. It's tough to be a Lions show these days. It really is. And any support and help you give, we appreciate it. We're doing it now for 5.5 years, or is it 6.5 years? 6.5 years.
Whatever 379 divided by whatever is.
6.5.
I'm not good at math.
18, yeah, 6.5 years, my friend.
My 7th grade daughter asked my 10th grade son for math help instead of me, because she just knows.
I'm trying to count single digits here. 6.5 years we've been doing this, and wow. the losses far outnumber the wins, I can tell you that. So give us the support, like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. We really, really appreciate the support from all you guys. More importantly, though, stjude.org/DLP or auction.detroitlionspodcast.com. Help us raise some money and help these sick kids. It's that time of year, and it's, between that and in the summer, it's the Fisher House. Those are the two big charities. It's kind of the big way we can give back.
Don't forget about Fisher House during the holidays.
Yeah, for real.
They still need your help.
Yep, absolutely. All right, with that, we're going to call it a show. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget about us on Patreon, patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. It's another way you can do a donation as little as $1 a month if you sign up there, and you get access to the most intelligent Lions chat on the internet. And I am not wrong. Nobody that's been in there has said that this is not the smartest group of people with the best conversation anywhere on the internet. That little dollar barrier creates a whole
really matters, man.
Environment. I am telling you, it is the best. One of the best things to come out of this podcast is that community. It's a great group of people.
Absolutely.
Great group of people. Patreon.com/Detroit Lions Podcast. Get in there, get access. Also, follow us on Twitter at DET Lions Podcast, DET Lions Podcast, and at Jeff Risdon. Give him up. And give us a call on Skype at Detroit Lions Podcast. All one word, Detroit Lions Podcast. Or call us on the Lions line at 929-33-LIONS. It's 929-335-4667. And be sure to go to DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Subscribe to the podcast, because Riz wants to.
I want to come into your ear holes automatically.
Ooh, I got little shivers. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to see you next time on the Detroit Lions Podcast. Best of luck, Don. Thank you for joining us. Remember, no pants, no toasters, no hot tubs, no problems. Because we are your Detroit Lions and Reddit connection.